Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cindy, this is Cozy Mountain Pottery. I'm here in my home studio in the mountains of Arizona. And I have a very small kiln reveal for you today. After getting the top element replaced in the kiln and the connection that went along with it, because that all burned up because of a loose screw, so check your connections. Finally got it all put back together with a brand new element, brand new connection. And this was my first glaze firing after that, and she did very well. So let's get started. Like I said, it's going to be super short, but that's good. But the kiln is firing again right now. I fired, so today is Tuesday, right? Tuesday, August 11th. And I fired this kiln Sunday morning and opened it last night. It was after dark. Of course, my kiln's outside, and I didn't feel like doing a video then. So I thought, I'll just give you a reveal inside. But I unloaded it last night, reloaded it, and then set it to start at 5 a.m. I don't like for it to fire overnight when we're sleeping because, well, then I'm not sleeping because I worry about it. I like to be able to check on it, which, for good reason, because that day that it had that bad connection and was arcing and glowing and all the things that it shouldn't do, I'm so glad that I was there to see that so that we could turn it off. Anyway, so let's get started. I forgot my notes. What the heck? Get away from there. Get away from there. I hope the lighting is okay. I'm sitting here just in front of a window, but I do have other lights on. Okay, so here is the cone 6. And I was pretty happy about that. I think that looks like a pretty good cone. I will say I had 3 shelves in my kiln. The middle shelf was hotter. It was like touching the shelf. Weird. But the top and bottom shelf, both like this. And apparently I threw the other ones away. So let's see if I can find all my notes. All right, I'm going to start with something that I don't really love, but it's okay. So it didn't break. Greta broke its fall. Thanks, Greta. Good job. This is on brown bear clay. I do have a couple of things, actually 2 things I think in here on Iceman, but everything else is on my Kentucky Mudworks brown bear, which I still love. And the outside is dipped in my Clayscapes cream. I love the cream on the brown bear. I just love that contrast. And then just for funsies, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this and kind of thought I might just keep it to put my retainers or something in, I don't know. I poured amaryllis inside. I brushed amaryllis inside. Just 1 coat. But yeah, I don't think amaryllis and brown bear clay are a very good combination. So, because there it is on the lid. Come on. That's not very pretty, right? I dipped the little knob and dipped that in the cream. I just kind of held it like this and dipped that in the cream. And then I put the amaryllis there. Now, if you see I put amaryllis in the very top. That gives it it's pink because it's on white, but you put it on the brown and it just, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea, but cute little lidded jar. So somebody might like it. Okay. And then this bowl was just dipped in stone denim. And look at that. Look at the variations in color. I mean, before I looked at my notes, I never would have guessed that was stone denim because that's very green. It went very green. There's a little bit of blue in here, but that might be because it's on the brown bear. Although I've done other things on brown bear. I didn't pay attention and I didn't Oh, I did take pictures. I should look and see what shelf this was on, because it might be that it was on the middle shelf, which got really hot. Oh, then inside is boogie pink. I poured it. I just poured it in and swirled it around and poured it back out. So, but that's kind of fun, having the, you know, the contrast. Okay, let me see. Where's my other phone? My good phone, my normal phone, not the phone that I record videos on. Ooh, that was almost a tragedy. Oh, Katy Perry has changed status to complete. Got a notification. She's done. Yay. Now we get to open her in like 36 hours. Oh, well, 24, 28. The waiting is the worst. My gosh, I hate waiting. Hate waiting so bad. Okay, so let's see. Yep. This bowl was on the middle shelf. So it got hotter. So I'm going to make a note of that. Stone denim doesn't like to get too hot, because that probably got to hot 6.5, maybe a 7. And that's just too hot. So let's see what else came off of that shelf. This batter bowl. I bet you can guess what that glaze is. That is olive float, Mako olive float, I believe 3 times. 3 times olive float. I think it's super pretty. I'm actually going to try it with combinations. I've been seeing other people do it in combination with other glazes, and I'm trying that. I do have one thing on my shelf that's already been glazed that I've used in a combination, but I do struggle. Now the inside looks really good, and maybe because this was on the really hot shelf, there's no pinholes inside, but there are several little, I don't know if you call them, you probably can't see them. I don't know if you call them pinholes or like just little pits. I don't know, but I don't really love that, but it's not on the inside. So yay for that. And let me tell you what I did, because I was having so much trouble with my olive float pinholing, that I looked it up, and Mako actually said that they recommend doing 2 coats of Mako Emerald, which is the base of olive float, 2 coats of that, and then just 1 coat of olive float. And so what I did is I maybe had 1/3 of a container left in that container of olive float. So I took my emerald and just poured it in. I filled the container up with emerald, stirred it all up, and glazed it. So that's what I got with that mixture of emerald and olive float. So, but I'm happy that it didn't pinhole on the inside. That's good. Okay. Then, what else was on that shelf? Well, I can't tell which one that was, but we'll just move on to show you that, I don't know if I mentioned it in one of my previous videos, but I have a missionary. I have a grandson serving a mission in Chile right now. And in Chile, they drink yerba mate. It's a tea. And so he's loving yerba mate. He's never had it before. He goes on his mission and he's just really loving this. So he's drinking it. And so when I asked him what he would like for his birthday, because it's coming up very soon, and I asked him, like, pottery wise, think about pottery. Is there something you would like? And he said, could you make a mate cup? And I'm like, well, of course I could make a mate cup. What's a mate cup? And so I did some searching to find, what's a mate cup? What's the shape? Well, originally mate cups are made from a gourd, and that's what they drink their mate out of. So they have a belly to them and then a narrower neck. And so I looked them up, and I looked at what some other potters have done. And, they kind of come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, Yeti. Is it Yeti or Stanley that even make a mate cup? Because my other grandson, who's home from his mission, he went to Argentina. He also drinks it. And so I made a few shapes. So this is one of the shapes with the belly. And then what I did is I put a little notch here, and that's where the straw can rest. The straw it's a different kind of straw. It's called Bombilla. Not sure which, if you pronounce the L's or not. But it's made for a loose leaf tea. Let me show you. And I bought some. I bought 3 just to kind of check them out. So see, the bottom of it is like a filter. So that's down inside the tea, and then the straw will just rest in that little notch. And then that way, when you drink it, you're not getting tea leaves. You know, it's filtering out the tea leaves and stuff. So it's fun, right? So anyways, so that's one. Okay. So now I have to figure out, though, I have to figure out which combination that was, because I did a few. And, oh, wait, I wrote on the bottom. Never mind. I can figure it out because I'm really smart like that. Yeah. I think that's what that says. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. So ancient copper, first I taped it. I used painter's tape and I taped around it in kind of a wavy pattern. And then I put ancient copper, a band right about a half an inch, about 1.5 inches of ancient copper just above the tape. Okay. And I did 4 coats of that. And then up above the ancient copper, all the way to the rim, and inside, I did blue rutile. And you're thinking, what? I know, right? But yeah, I mean, you can see the blue in there. And quite frankly, I mean, I love it because I really wanted it to be really earthy, you know, just really dark and earthy. And I think it's gorgeous, but I love dark, earthy, moody colors. And I love the way that ancient copper came out. I mean, no frothing or anything. I think it's really pretty. And so that was not on the second shelf. On the middle shelf, it doesn't look like that. Yeah, that was either on the bottom or top shelf, which were both exactly like this cone that I showed you. So I don't know. Does the ancient copper, does it get shinier if it's a little bit hotter? I don't know. I think it looks gorgeous just like that. I'm super happy with it. Okay. And then now this one, I can tell just from the picture that this one is the one that was on the middle shelf that got hot, another mate cup. And this one is number 12. This is, again, ancient copper times 4 all over. I did ancient copper from bottom to top times 4. And then I did smoky merlot inside and around the top 2 times. And then blue rutile over that inside and around the top 1 time, blue rutile. Feel like maybe I kind of wasted my blue rutile and maybe my smoky merlot. But I just love the way it looks. I think it's so pretty. Now this was on the middle shelf. It got hot. It ran, but not so bad that I can't fix it. I can grind that off, especially after that wonderful tutorial that Jeanette at Far Forest Ceramics made on how to grind things. I learned so much from that tutorial. I'd been doing it all wrong. I had been doing it all wrong. And she gave such great advice. So if you ever need to grind your pottery and you're a little nervous, because I was kind of scared of it. I was scared too with the Dremel and how much can I do? Oh my gosh, Jeanette's amazing. Jeanette at Far Forest Ceramics. She has a tutorial on grinding. But yeah, so that's that mate cup. I love the ancient copper. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a phone call. Bear with. What? What are you doing? Hi.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. What's going on? Okay. So things are a little crazy right now because I got a phone call, interrupted by a phone call. It was my granddaughter who's on her way to the Philippines. Well, she's at the MTC in Provo right now. Anyways, it was so fun to talk to her. Came back to record the second half of my video. Recorded the second half of my video. There was no sound. So I'm starting over. So the lighting is different. I had to turn a light on. It's getting dark. It's raining, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we're just going to move right back into it. So here we go. Another mate cup. Oh gosh. And now let's see. My notes are still right here. Okay. This is Looks like number 10. Okay, ancient copper times 4 outside, obviously. Obsidian poured inside, and then seaweed over the obsidian. So I like it. It's pretty. It's very moody. It's very dark. It's very earthy. It's good. It's got a very metallic feel to it. The blue really shows up on this one, which is funny because it's obsidian over. This looks more blue than the stone denim, and this is seaweed and obsidian. Not funny? So funny. Pottery is funny. Okay, then this mate cup. All of these things I glazed during the school, SKOOL, the school group call, 24-hour call last Saturday. And Souza from Handmade by Souza, if you don't follow her, please go check her out and give her a follow. She lives in Germany. She's fantastic. I absolutely adore her. But she puts on, well, she started the school community, and then she started doing these group calls once a week. And then she started doing a 24-hour call just every so often. And she stays up for the entire 24 hours. But this way, all the potters that are in the community from around the world can just check in during their time, their time zone when they're awake and whatnot. Because we've got potters in our community from the Netherlands, UK, Germany, Australia, just all over. It's so fun. So anyhow, so Souza kind of challenged me on this one that I should dip it half and half. So half in stone denim, half in my cream. Well, it didn't really work out as I'd hoped. So what I did is I just held it like this and I dipped it halfway down in my cream. And then I pulled it out and then I'm like, ooh, now how am I going to hold it to dip it the other way? So I grabbed my tongs, hooked it with the tongs, dipped it down in the stone denim, which because my bucket, if I would put it pour my glaze into a wider pan, that would have been easier. But just getting it in my bucket. Anyways, so the cream and the stone denim overlapped each other, which made it way too thick. And both glazes are very stable on their own, but not together. And it was so thick that this is where they overlap. Pieces of it had flaked off even before it went in the kiln. I went ahead and threw it in the kiln anyways. And it just kind of all crawled, because there was still some white on there. But it all crawled away, but it's glossy, which is kind of cool. But this piece right here, in the first video, I was like, that was not like that when I pulled it out of the kiln. And I looked down and there was the piece laying right here on my wheel head. I don't know why. I mean, I don't think I bumped it on anything, but that's weird that it would chip off like that. I've already thrown it in the bucket over there. So this is not I can't save it. But it was a fun test. And I hated that I sacrificed a mate cup for that, but it's clay and I can make more. And they're super easy to make because they don't have handles. I love that about mate cups. So I'm going to be making more of those, assuming I can sell them, and hopefully I can. Okay, then the other thing that I did that's super fun is plates. My first time doing plates. Love that. And nice and flat. This one's not super big. I don't know how big it is. It's about that big. And so this is, what did I say this one was? This is honey flux, 2 times honey flux and 2 times kimchi. And it's for my daughter, and she loves the pastels, so she's really going to like that. Then this one, this is on the brown bear. This one's on Iceman. This one is 2 times honey flux and 2 times smoky merlot. Makes such a pretty pastel. So this one's 9 inches across. But so I'm just, making them different sizes. I have another big one like this in the kiln right now. And I think another one a little in between these 2 sizes also in the kiln. Then I have one more that still needs glazed to go in because I'm giving her 5 because she just recently got divorced. And I think it's symbolic of her new family with just her and the 4 children. Divorce is not always a sad thing. Sometimes it's the best thing that can happen to a person. And that's the case in this situation. So we're very happy for her. And so I'm excited to make plates flat. I threw them on the wheel. I did the thing with the, centered it and then used the rolling pin to flatten them down and then lifted up the edge. And then did I wire it off the bat? Yes, I wired it off, but left it on the bat, covered it with a piece of fabric, for like a week and then trimmed it, and there you go. I mean, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't very hard at all. So anyways, then one day when the grandgirls were here, we were doing some hand building, and I just had a little piece of a slab. And so I took it. This is that clay that I didn't like, that Laguna Electric Brown. Ew, didn't like it at all. Still don't. But I just kind of lifted up the edges and, just was making a little thing. We had rolled texture into them. And this I dipped in my Clayscapes cream, and it's very thick, so it completely filled in the texture, but you just can kind of see the ghosts of the pine trees in there, which is kind of fun. And then Jaxley, my 12-year-old, she used that same clay, and she hand built this. She even put handles. She wanted a tray with handles. So she hand built this and glazed that with 2 coats of boogie pink. It looks like a fish spine or something in the middle, doesn't it? I think it's just kind of cool. I really like it. So that's it. That's my kiln load. I mean, it was really small. Putting the plates in there made it even smaller, because then I don't have as much room, because my kiln is very small. And a plate takes up. I was only able to fit, like with the big plate, I was able to fit this lid, and I think this mate cup. I don't know. One of the, must have been that one, because that's the narrowest one. On that shelf. So anyway, small kiln load, but that's okay. I'm going to try. It's late now, but I'm still going to try to get this video uploaded tonight. Hopefully this one has sound. So anyways, if you can hear me wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone you're in, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, day. And I appreciate you for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and like this video and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, and I'll see you on the next one.
From my hands to yours, it's a piece of the land.